There's one thing on the homestead that's always very, very frustrating to me is when you buy something that's designed to be used as a tool and it doesn't work. Our four-wheeler has been having issues, and I think I bought the wrong size battery, or a battery that's not big enough, because if we put the charger on it, it'll charge and it'll start, and if you turn it off and 5 minutes later try to start it again, it won't start. So I'm going to take this into the shop. We have a Polaris dealer local here in town, and ask him what I'm doing wrong. If this is the wrong battery or what. You guys remember our adventures in growing our own mushrooms. We got these indoor mushroom kits this fall, and we've been getting quite a few harvests off of them, and I think this one, which is the pink oyster mushroom, is finally done, or I've killed it. But I've been leaving them out in my garage, and at night it's been getting cold, like down into the 40s at night, and I think it just toasted it. So I thought of an idea, an experiment that we could try. Over here on the north side of our house, if you remember, like what was that, a month and a half ago, we spread a nice thick, like 10 to 12 inch thick layer of wood chips on the side of our house as landscaping. And I thought of an idea of, this thing's probably dead. I don't think it's gonna grow mushrooms anymore. But instead of just tossing this in the trash, which I don't really know what this even is. I think it's like wood chips, ground up wood or sawdust. Yeah, it looks like sawdust. And then they inoculate it with the spores of the mushroom that you're wanting to grow. In this case, pink oyster mushrooms. I could throw this in the trash, but why not spread it out here along with this in these wood chips, since it's all just wood and sawdust. Maybe in doing so, we'll inoculate our wood chip pile here on the side of our house, and next spring or summer we'll come back out here and we'll check and see if we have mushrooms growing. Now I still have the one from the we grew two types, the pink oyster mushroom and the lion's mane. The lion's mane is still doing good. I brought that one in the house. It's still growing. We're getting a nice big mushroom fruit off of it. So that one's still going, but this one, we'll spread it out right here and we'll see what happens. It'll be an experiment. See if we can have a sustainable mushroom patch on the side of the house. And then that lion's mane one, just on the other side of this bush right here, when that one's done, we'll do the same with that one over there. So this side will be one, that side will be another, and if they grow here, we know what they are. They're pink oyster mushrooms and lion's mane mushrooms. So could be a cool, fun little experiment for us. We won't know until next year after winter, so subscribe if you want to know if it worked. So there's been a couple of you who have been asking about what happened to those little pine trees that you guys brought, well, not little, those little pine trees that you guys brought back from your cabin, your off-grid cabin this summer, and you transplanted here on your homestead. The answer is they're doing great. Every single one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 5 of them are doing good. They all have some new growth. I've been keeping the weeds trimmed down, trying to keep a nice, 6 to 8 inch layer of wood chips down on the bottom to keep the moisture levels up, and they're doing good, really good. I'm really surprised. The one thing that I'm worried about is deer, and we have a couple evergreens, like not necessarily pine, more of like the evergreen family that we planted back here, gosh, what is it now, 4 years ago. We got them from the county conservation district, where you can buy like those packs of like trees, like bare rootstock trees, and they were like these tiny little twigs like this, that we planted. The deer absolutely every year come and attack these things. So this here's one of them. This thing was literally like this tall, like a little twig when we planted it 4 years ago. Now he's a big, nice, healthy. I don't remember what kind it is. Yeah, I don't remember. They had tags on them, but I think they're long gone. We had a lot of leftover fencing from our goat pasture, that no-climb fencing. And I cut like I think it's like a 12-foot long piece and wrapped it together into a big circle, and then took the ends of the wire and just wrapped them together and set this on them. And I'm hoping that will keep the deer, because it's not necessarily the deer that's eating them, it's the bucks, the deers with the antlers coming back here and scraping on them. Apparently that works really well to get that velvet off of their antlers, so they scrape the crap out of them and just about kill them. So hopefully this will protect them. Again, another nice thick layer of wood chips. The other one's way back there. We won't go check that one, but it's basically the same setup. So if you know if deer like white pines, if they're gonna eat these things, let me know down in the comments, because I can make some more of these. I think I have enough fencing, although I have to make 5 of them. I can protect those little babies too if I need to. And I really wanted to go to the cabin and get more. Like 5 or 6 more, and plant this whole side of our property here just with all white pines along the edge like that. I think it'll look really nice someday. And I saw these little red things here. I'm like the most perfect little crab apples. Normally they're all eaten up by worms and stuff, and these ones are in good shape. I didn't know we had a crab apple tree here. Man, that's sour. Oh, not too bad. I'm gonna have to show Rachel. I don't think she knew we had this. So the bee yard, very, very, very active today. On days like today, it's like 72 degrees, sunny. There's still some goldenrods. All the asters in the back. I got a good probably acre of asters back here. The bees are busy, busy, busy putting up their stores for winter. These 3 here over on the side were the 3 that we adopted about 2 weeks ago. And I pretty much left them alone. I haven't got into them or dug into them yet. I started some mite treatments with oxalic acid vaporizer. So I've been treating them just to make sure that they're good. And I need to get into these guys today. I need to pull open these 3 boxes and check them for resources. Now I know it seems like every time I post a beekeeping video, I get a lot of comments from you guys about how I know nothing about bees, but I found this fascinating. So when for this portion of this video and future videos, I'm gonna make sure I keep that in mind when I post things about bees for you guys. And I'm gonna try to keep it high level and assume you guys know nothing. And try to keep things really basic so that you can get a good understanding and maybe come away with some knowledge that you didn't have beforehand. So first things first, before we take a look at those ones, this hive, this single deep is what you would call this. This is that swarm that we caught a couple weeks ago. And what I'm looking for is, see these cells right here that are capped like that? That is babies. You can even see some of them still have like a white looking larvae inside of them. Those are the babies. Once they get a little older, they'll get capped off and then they'll hatch out. So this was the swarm, like I said, that we caught recently. I wanted to check them, make sure that the queen was actually in here. And since we see eggs and babies being hatched, we know things are good. So a quick check there is looking good. I'd like to see the population a little bit higher. I'd like to see more babies, more larvae, but I think the queen's here. So all we're gonna do for these ones is I have another box that I'm gonna set on top that's filled with honey and sugar water from my bees that died last year. So I'm gonna grab that real quick. We'll set that on top. That'll be their food stores that'll get them through winter because there's not much else in here right now.
Todd is doing his bees behind me, and he was probably wondering where I went off to. And I did a video the other day on harvesting my wildflowers. Look what I found. I missed this guy the other day. Isn't she beautiful? I think she's a she. Isn't she pretty? Anyway, and I said in that video I wanted to grab myself some goldenrod for teas. So that's what this little bunch is. Just, it's not a lot, but it'll be plenty for my medicinal needs if it comes up during the year, and I'll be covered. And I'll probably mix it into just a natural tea blend. But the back pasture, I don't know if Todd's shown it to you guys yet. It is just like crazy glorious with wildflowers today, and it's just a beautiful day. So it's always nice to just get out and walk around and enjoy God's natural painting. So I'm gonna go put these in though. I'm just gonna hang them upside down and let them air dry, and then I'll bring you guys a video here shortly. I know I promised it in probably the last couple years, and I just haven't gotten to it because my garden season's always been extended so long, but because my garden season's wrapping down early this year, I'll be able to bring you that tea video. So I look forward to sharing this with you very soon. Whoops.
Well, this is one of the hives that we adopted recently, and I have really no clue what's going on inside of here. So we're going to go through one of these. I'm not going to take you guys through all three of them because it's going to take me a while to do this. But I will tell you kind of what I'm looking for here. So I'm looking for population, how many bees are actually in here. And this is the top box. And I'm not seeing a ton of bees. And I'm looking for resources. How many resources do they have set aside to get them through winter? And so far I'm not seeing much in this top box. Oh, hey guys. They're just about all empty. And then much like the first box that we went through, I'm looking to make sure that the hive is queen right, meaning there is a queen here. You don't always necessarily have to find the queen, but if you can find eggs and larvae, that is baby bees, you know that there's a queen in here somewhere. So this top box is basically empty. There's really no resources at all in here for them to get them through the winter, so that's not good. However, I have a lot of resources saved in the barn, just like we did with that one, that I can plop on top of this for them. So that will get them through the winter. So with that top box removed, we can check and see what's going on down here in the bottom. Oh, sorry guys, sorry. And with this is a queen excluder. This is what you normally would put on when you want to keep the queen down in the lower box only. That way they only store resources, food, up in that top box. You start taking a look at this bottom box and see what they got going on down here. Population's not super high. There's a little bit of brood there. You see these ones that are capped here? Not very much though. I've seen a couple cells that are not capped yet with babies in them, so that's a good sign. I think we can assume that this hive is queen right. We have capped larvae, we have uncapped larvae, and not a massive amount of food. So we will just keep nurturing this hive And that top box that I took off is not going back on. I'm gonna go to my barn and get one of those boxes that I have that are completely packed and filled with food, and I'm gonna put that right on top instead. And that will be their winter supply to get them through. They have a very good temperament. They're not being super feisty with me. A lot of times in the fall, like it is now, when you're getting closer you get to winter, the more valuable their resources are to them, and they tend to get very defensive. Come on, you guys gotta go in. Closing up. Well, friends, I am finished. I've gone through all 3 of the adopted hives. This is the one that I went through with you guys. We went through that one together. This one I went through, that one I went through without you, both of those. And it's not very good news. So the first one, the one that we went through together, I basically condensed them down into one box. There is eggs, there is larvae, population medium to low would be my guess. I'm gonna add a resource box on top of that of sugar syrup. I'm gonna close these guys up while I'm doing this. The resource box on top that's filled with basically already pre-filled with honey and sugar water, a mixture of both. They were from my hives from last fall. The second box, the middle one there, they're not good. There's basically 0 eggs, 0 larvae. Population is super, super, super low. So it seems like they've been queenless for a while now. And there's no saving that hive. The top box, which is what I have here, is basically filled with resources. I'm gonna go through this one more time and double check it, but I think it's all honey, like the entire 10 frame deep box. So that box I'm gonna pull. I'm gonna move it somewhere far, probably out in front of our house somewhere. A little bit of resources left in it. We'll let the colonies that are doing good come and rob that out, steal all them resources and backfill their other boxes. The third one down there on the end, it is queen right. I did find eggs, larvae, a decent amount, and population is also medium to low. So there's 2 boxes on there right now, but basically that top one is empty. I've condensed them all down into one hive as well. And I'll add a box of resources to the top, which will basically be food to get them through the winter. So we've been all over the place today. We've been in the garage. We checked out the 4-wheeler. We went and planted those mushrooms over on the side. We checked out the pine trees. We spent some time with the bees. Oh, and we found that crabapple tree. We didn't even know that we had. Those were some big old crab apples. The sad news about the bees. So of the 3 colonies that we adopted, we basically only adopted 2. That third one wasn't really a colony after all. It was just some bees and some nectar. But I was able to take some of the resources from that, add it to the other 2 hives. The 2 that are good, they've been condensed down, and they have full boxes of food on the top now to get them through the winter. So I feel pretty good going into winter. All the colonies have plenty of food to get them through. So we'll just keep babying them as we approach winter. And yeah, it was fun. Thanks for coming along, guys. See you guys later.